Welcome to Extra Modelling Challenges. So what else can you make? This is a question I get asked all the time. Mike, I'd like to, I'd like to really focus in on what I've learned so far. Have you got any suggestions for me? Well, perhaps the backdrop with the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the low poly trees and mountain is a bit of a stretch at the moment, but very soon you'll be able to do that. But we now have a lot of basic modeling tools to hand, which means that we can start making some basic models. Don't worry, those that are itching to learn more, there's plenty more to come, but now is the time to reinforce our modeling knowledge. Not just leap onto something new, but practice what we've learnt and practice it properly. So I'm going to jump straight into a challenge here. Extra activities. I'd like you to go and pick 3 objects that consist of only 1 or 2 parts. And for the reason for that is because many of you will go off and try and model something that's too complex, and that will make you feel bad if you go and do that. Let's stick with simple things. Go to your kitchen drawer, open up the cupboard, see what's there. Simple things. And remember representations of those. So we're modeling them to a basic level of detail, or LOD. What we don't want to do at this stage is start really focusing on high detail. I know some of you will want to do that straight away, but really learning low detail modeling is going to make your high detail modeling much better, because at a lower level you're able to iterate the process much more quickly. Share them with us. I love seeing, and the rest of the students love seeing, your models. So make sure you come over to the community site and share your models over there. Now don't worry, for the eager amongst you, more complex models and scenes, well, we're going to be dealing with those later on, not in this particular section. So go ahead, pause the video and pick those 3 objects that consist of 1 or 2 parts and crack on modelling. Okay guys, welcome back. I'd like to show you the couple of objects that I've modelled in a very low detail manner, and for that we're going to have to hop on over into Blender. So in front of us here we have a very inspired object. We have a low poly cube. No, it's a little bit further on than that. I've used the inset tool to make a crate. Now, when you're showing off your models, you may want to go up to the screen layouts and change it to a 3D full view. You may have to zoom in or out, but here we're completely distraction free. We can really focus on our model, and that is essentially a low poly crate. Well, what else have I gotten up to? I have played about and I've made a low poly coffee cup. How useful is that? Well, in this form, not very. It needs some liquid in it. A nice coffee, I think. What else could I have made? Now this time I've focused on something that's actually made of 2 parts within one mesh. I've got this is an axe for those who don't recognize it, and we've got, let's go over into our default view, we've got 2 different meshes, but they're part of one mesh object. So if I go inside the mesh object into edit mode and have a look at this, we see that this bit inside, in fact if I go to wireframe mode and see it even in more detail, we can see that this stem going through it is much like a real axe and actually goes through and intersects this outer part here. Now later on we can get to colouring those in, etc. But this is an example of 2 meshes in one mesh object. And tut, have you noticed that it's still called cube? It would be great if we get into the habit nice and early on about calling things what they are. So this is now in fact an axe. I'm pretty sure I'm guilty of that in other places as well. And finally, a simple oil barrel. Now rest assured I don't have oil barrels lying around my house, but I just like them. I don't know why. I think they're a really cool shape. Simple me, hey? So this is an example. It's slightly more polygons than previous. We're up at 1500 polygons or triangles there, and it's a bit rough around the edges, but we'll learn how to smooth things out like that in the future. And of course, one of the things we're lacking from all of these, now we've got our modeling skills up, is a bit of color. And of course, we'll learn that over in the next section. And before you guys rush over to that next section and we wrap up this one, I'd really like to see what you guys have modeled, especially on your own. What 3 objects have you picked? Love to see them. Please share them over on the community site so others can see them as well. And I will see you guys in the next lecture.